Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here, and I am back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves one that I'm very excited for today. It's been a couple days since I've been able to, I'd say sit down and cast one of these, but I'm actually standing while I cast. The joys of a adjustable desk. It makes you feel a little bit better when you're just playing video games nonstop, that kind of thing. And so, yes, very excited for this match. We have got a bot called 27Turtles. Going to be taking on a bot I don't believe I've cast before, but with a very cool name, the Crustacean. And so we've got 27Turtles saying, GLHF, you better watch out because I'm about to tearing you apart. And so thanks 27Turtles for making the obvious puns so that I, the caster, do not have to. And so then we've got Crustacean saying tag bio amount 11, weight medivac equals false. I have no idea what that means other than the obvious bio. The weight 11 seems interesting. Maybe wait till 11 supply, 11 units before attack. I could not tell you, but we've got a TVT. And it looks like an early scout from Crustacean, so trying to get some information. What it'll do with it is to be seen. And then just a bunker on the low ground. So a TVT starting off, nothing too crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get further into this one, go ahead, slap that like button. Let's aim for 62 likes on this video. And if we can hit that, that would be amazing. You guys are the best. Leave a comment down below that says more bots if you want to see more of these bots. Subscribe if you're not, and consider becoming a YouTube member if you want to see want to support the channel. That's what I have instead of patron. And now let's see, we've got a command center on the way for Crustacean, relying on that bunker for early defense. Getting up a second Rax, it appears. Is it going to be this SCV building it after that depot? Yes, it is. And then it looks like we've got a CC on the way for 27Turtles, one Reaper on the way, following up the Marines, interestingly enough. So saying, no, I don't want to deal with that or go for that early Reaper, but I do want to get some scouting information. So 27Turtles going for that later on. Very interesting to see, then going for a bunker of its own. A much later bunker, notably, but not the end of the world. And there's a bit of debate there whether how fast of a bunker do you want to get in case, say, you're being heavily cheesed. So 27Turtles going for the later bunker, not going for an SCV scout early on means that I guess it could be susceptible to certain cheeses, whereas Crustacean's faster defense seems to be a little bit stronger. That Reaper comes on in and gets a little too comfortable with that bunker and gets shot down by those Marines. Yeah, that's interesting, just that it did not avoid that successfully. Makes me wonder if that maybe had something to do with the fact that the Marines in the bunker have +1 range, or maybe just the pathing of 27Turtles there did not take as much care of it should. We've got a third now on the way for Crustacean. That's one of the things I love about these bots, is how they're basically expanding bots. They just do that that AI machine thing, which they, you know, expand and swarm and take over the world, that kind of thing. So let's take a look here. We've got double refineries on the way for 27Turtles, dropping mules at that base now. So it wants to have lots of gas. It's expanding a little bit slower. Makes me wonder what it's going to use the starport for. I imagine a Banshee, and there's the cloak on the way. And then we've got Crustacean. It opened with its bio play. No stim, but it does have concussive shells out. So those Marauders can basically catch any unit, which is a very strong feature of the Marauder. The fact that it really changes the situation anytime a Marauder has concussive shell in an engagement, because all of a sudden that micro you can do, or your bot can do, in StarCraft 2 is just gone. So we'll see if that's going to be too significant later on. For now, though, that third getting up for Crustacean, I'm wondering how much damage 27Turtles is going to get with a Banshee popping out, potentially. It's got its own third on the way, so it's not too far behind economically. Behind on workers by about 6, which is a little bit significant. But this Banshee could potentially even things up in a big way, as it is just Marines out for Crustacean. So the micro and the control on that Banshee is going to be a big deal. We've got a 4th base on the way for Crustacean. So these bots, they do just expand and expand and expand. Stim pack is on the way for Crustacean. No tanks, notably. Going mass bio, whereas 27Turtles does have a tank out. So that could be very good for 27Turtles if the bio walks into a tank, or hopefully in Crustacean's sake, stims into a tank, and that the bot can recognize when it needs to really push into a tank line. We'll see whether that's going to be the case or not. That's not an easy thing to program. We have got a starport on the way for Crustacean, finishing up actually, so it's going to be able to get a reactor on that, presumably for Vikings or Medivacs. I believe it said wait Medivac equals false, so I guess it is just getting out the Medivacs as soon as possible. It's now starting to move out on the map. There is 2 Banshees out for 27Turtles. They're taking their time to get out, maybe waiting for that cloak to be 100% done before moving out, but we do see a tag Banshees going down as the Banshees actually run into this army of Crustacean. Crustacean does not have stim on this Bioforce just yet, but it may be able to grab quite a few SCVs as the army of 27Turtles, it's got its own Marines and a tank, but it's definitely a better Bioforce here for Crustacean. But with that tank, with the Banshee shelling away on this, this will be a relatively easy cleanup. The tag of seeing the Banshees for Crustacean makes me wonder if we'll see turrets, what it's going to go for anti-air. It does have a Cyclone on the way. I'm wondering if it will produce Vikings here or not. There's currently no engineering bay out, so no turrets to deal with these Banshees. So I'm getting a little bit concerned here for the potential of these 2 Banshees. They already helped deal with that attack in a big way, and now they're coming on in. They're going to set their sights on a supply depot to start things off. There is a Viking and a Cyclone on the way. Marines are engaging these Banshees, so their effectiveness will seemingly be limited quite a bit. All the while this is going on, we've got Crustacean really macroing up, making 4 SCVs at a time, ahead on workers by 20, whereas 27Turtles is playing much more passive. There's a 5th base going up compared to the 3rd of 27Turtles. And the one thing that I will say is concerning for Crustacean is the lack of combat shield on these Marines, the lack of any upgrades coming out, and if 27Turtles just builds up to enough tanks here, it doesn't matter how many bases you have, you can throw wave after wave of bio into siege tanks. So we'll see if that's going to be a factor in this game or not. There is an eBay on the way now. I'm wondering when we're going to see that combat shield get started up. The lack of it is really quite concerning here for Crustacean, as it's definitely got the resources. Is this just something the bot author didn't program, or is it a bug? I don't know. We see tag saying duplicate. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a bit of debugging in the bot, stopping it from building multiple buildings that it doesn't need or something like that. Anyway, we now see Crustacean come on in. It has made 1 siege tank, so it can siege that up, but it is the aggressor in a TVT, so the 3 tanks defensively for 27Turtles will be pretty strong here. The tank is getting walked on by the bio of 27Turtles as this bio engages each other. The tanks are going to be scrapping, but it's 1 versus 3, so Crustacean falls short there. Almost gets a refinery. It looks like it may just get that refinery, as it does burn down after all. We'll see if 27Turtles rebuilds that or goes without the gas. There it goes, rebuilding that right away. But all in all, that was a very efficient fight for 27Turtles. So we're going to see if that's the trend that continues on in this game. Crustacean is just swarming this game, going up to a 6 base now, 69 SCVs. And now it's making more Marines. No combat shield on those Marines just yet. It's at least getting the +1 for them. It's getting up more and more expansions as it reaches that exponential growth that some of these bots reach. And now it's coming on in for another attack. It's really up on army supply, but once again, if it's attacking into what is now 4 siege tanks, it doesn't matter how much of an army supply lead you have, particularly when these Marines do not have combat shield. So the Marauders are real nice, but they only work against tanks when they get right on top of them. So a terrible, terrible fight for Crustacean. However, it is just spamming out all the Marines. So we're really seeing this efficiency versus swarm style here in a TVT, which is not unheard of in TVT, the mech versus old bio thing. But it is actually technically bio versus bio with 27 Turtles making Marines. We do, however, have seen 27 Turtles get put out of position here as Crustacean is ready with another attack. Viking's going to kill the Raven. Looks like the micro of Crustacean's Marines will have them being pushed back. Potentially another dead refinery here. But the tank control for 27 Turtles is real nice, just shimmying those forward. Looks like it'll lose a few units here. Oh my gosh, spam galore going down. Crustacean going for the old blot out the sun strategy. Well, with the sun of the scans. Those of you that have played StarCraft 2 minigames like Phantom and have built 50 command centers know that you can just drop scans for days. And Crustacean seems to realize that with its, oh, I don't know, 7 orbital commands that it's got. But it's reached this point that Crustacean is constantly attacking, funneling units into these tanks, not getting the trades that it needs. It's now coming on in. It might get a tank here. Not quite. Almost does. But it's still just such a slaughter efficiency-wise. Is that going to matter, though? As, I mean, Crustacean has taken virtually every base on this map. Is it dropping mules? Looks like it's still dropping the odd mule here and there, but it did just burn a lot of energy on the scans. And I really don't know which bot is going to come out ahead here. If Crustacean pools its units up, it could potentially trade out well enough to break this tank line, but it has yet to do that. It's yet to get combat shield either. Just 7 Marines running into 7 tanks? Yeah, that doesn't work out. And so a great engagement there for 27 Turtles as its cost efficiency is going to rise and rise. Mass starports are on the way now for 27 Turtles. I'm curious if we'll ever see a transition out of Crustacean or not. It's yet to take this base of its opponent, but it is going to try and secure this one. And yeah, just more and more bio running on in here, stimming on in, and just dying. And this is one of the things that only a bot will do. A human player isn't really going to do this too much. And it's one of the reasons why if you program a bot, how you pool your units is very, very significant, as we're seeing Crustacean really fall flat when it comes to this. It's losing more and more supply as the bio steps forward for 27 Turtles. The bio that is not fighting under tank cover, it will be much better trades for the Red Terran, so there is still decent trades to be had, but as the tanks inch forward and all the Widow Mines that are burrowed there, that's going to become really problematic. If Crustacean even made a few of its own tanks, that would be huge. It's now going to be able to pick off one of its opponent's tanks, but that's one tank for at least 20 supply of bio. Upgrades are going for 27 Turtles. An armory's on the way for Crustacean. Very delayed, but at least it is getting that. These Marines just charging on in once more. Still only 45 HP, not 55. No combat shield. Medivacs in the sky make up a significant portion of the supply for the Red Terran. So the Red Terran really falling down in supply, and its trickle behavior is really punishing it. It's trying to take this base here. I don't know if that's going to work out as a tank sieges up on that. And yeah, really unfortunate, because Crustacean definitely had the better opening, but its unit control just has not been there. Its behavior, its control's been fine as it splits those Marines against the tanks. The fact that it engaged only with 6 Marines and not 60, like it potentially could have, it just chilled for a second. It's like that base does get cleaned on up, and 27 Turtles is going up and up in supply. And this is one of those tragic bot stories which they do not change their behavior. There's no randomness in code. And so Crustacean just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again as it's now down on supply by a huge margin. It might catch a couple of these tanks out, but it's still got a long way to go. It's dropping so many scans again and again on the same spot. I get the feeling that would be something that would be fairly easy to check for, as I'm guessing Crustacean just burns through all of its energy there. Using the scans and checking for duplicate scans, I don't think would be too hard of a thing to do as a bot author, so potentially some room for improvement there as Crustacean. Maybe the fact that it's not dropping mules is why it's just been taking worse and worse fights, as it hasn't had more money to really make all the production that it can do. And so we do see 27 Turtles coming on in here, gonna be able to take down a base, potentially take down another base down on the bottom right, and this is where things really are falling off for Crustacean. It's now pretty much half the supply of 27 Turtles, a third of the army supply. It's still got this decent bioforce, and it's been tragic because it's been building up. It's been building good units. Oh my gosh, there's the scans on the Widow Mines again. What a big bug there. If you're a bot author and you play against Crustacean, apparently the play just is to make a burrowed Widow Mine, and it'll make itself go broke on scans. So that's unfortunate there. As a bot author, one of the things is that you can always be improving your bot. And I'm sure the bot author of Crustacean will take a look at this game and go, yeah, there's a couple things that I can do. We see some of this bio splitting beautifully against the tanks, but doesn't look like there's enough here. It gets one of the tanks. Now it's 27 Turtles time to return the favor as it starts taking all the bases on the map. And Crustacean falling down in supply, I think, is going to be our loser this game after the strong start. Quite unfortunate. Still a very enjoyable game by both these bots. The slow and methodic approach coming out ahead against the just rapid expand swarm style. The scans really have been a major thorn in the side of Crustacean. The fact that it wasn't dropping mules, each scan is 250 mules. That's 5 Marines. It's probably wasted, if I had to guess, 50 scans this game. Maybe that's a bit more, but you guys do the math. That's a lot of units that Crustacean has lost out on. And unfortunately, that's going to be the game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. Big thanks to the bot author who recommended this game. It was very enjoyable as we watch 27 Turtles clean everything up. As, yeah, Crustacean just dying here. Not doing much but dying. And yeah, sorry for not being able to put up a video the past week. I've been adjusting my schedule, so I haven't had too much time to sit down and do this, but always enjoy it when I do. Crustacean trying to rebuild, making 3 SCVs at a time, saying we will rebuild. That's one of my favorite things about these bots, when they're like, yes, I lost everything, but as long as I have 50 minerals, I'll make another worker. But 27 Turtles, a good enough bot not to dilly-dally too much to give Crustacean time to rebuild, and that is going to be that. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I will see you next time.